Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the final Monday of the year. The holidays are wrapping up in January. Well, it's right around the corner. So let's get through what you might have missed last week. First up, we're going to talk about the holiday hangover that nobody ever actually budgets for. Same business, same revenue, cash flow feels tight, and well, this time a little bit personal. And everyone's asking what suddenly went wrong. Well, listen, nothing went wrong. December happened, daily payments stacked up, and your obligations, well, they didn't take a holiday, and January didn't create a problem. It just really exposed the math. If Q1 already feels heavy, Luigi breaks it down right on our credit bank blog. It's actually really interesting how this happens. It's a predictable cycle. December spending, January consequences, and a pattern that happens every year. Check out the blog to learn how to get through it. Talking about predictable patterns, let's talk about one company that's actually mastered the cycle, and I'm talking about Hallmark. Now, they turned greeting cards into an empire built on repetition. Familiar faces, familiar plots, same ending every single time, and it's worked for a very long time. But even Hallmark is seeing cracks. Viewership is down, audiences are drifting, and suddenly brands built on "it's always worked" have to rethink their whole business model and strategy. There's a lesson here for any businesses that actually leaned in too hard to things that used to work just because they're used to doing things the same way. Now, if you want proof that Christmas isn't as innocent as it looks, let's meet the Poinsettia. The Poinsettia, it's a billion-dollar business. Global supply chains, patents, lawyers, the works. It's a plant with indigenous roots that somehow became tightly controlled and a commercial machine. It's festive, sure, but it's also a master class in how IP and old laws quietly build empires, while everyone else is just admiring the color. Now, speaking of changing systems quietly, Robinhood rolled out an AI that just doesn't show you how to trade. It helps you really decide what matters. With prediction markets exploding, people aren't just betting on stocks anymore, they're betting on outcomes. Call it innovation, call it a smarter casino, but either way, retail investors are being trained to think differently. And that shift, it's not going away. Meanwhile, while everyone's talking about AI and crypto, gold did just what gold does. Gold was up over 70% this year, and it hit record highs over and over, and it did it without much noise. Central banks were buying aggressively, investors piled into ETFs, and it just kept moving higher. So it turns out when things feel unstable, investors still trust that shiny little rock that comes out of the ground that's worked for thousands of years. Now, if you're sitting in gold and you're an investor, you're having a smooth ride. However, not everybody's on that same bus. Offshore wind just ran headfirst into Washington. Projects are frozen, billions are on pause, and jobs are on risk. And the stocks, well, they didn't like it one bit. Now, that's a reminder, if you're playing in heavily regulated industries, you're not just betting on good engineering or economics, you're actually playing politics. And when policy shifts, entire sectors can collapse overnight. Now, a quick reminder, and this is one I care a lot about because I'm a certified exit planner. For any business owner out there that thinks they know when they're gonna exit, here's the cold, hard truth. You won't. The truth of the matter is, most exits don't happen when you're ready. They happen when something breaks. Health, energy, cash flow, partner relationships. And that's when your options start to disappear. Look, exit planning is not about selling tomorrow. It's about having options so you're not cornered into one later on. Remember this, if the business cannot run without you, leverage leaves the room first. I broke this down in detail in our Substack. Hit the link, read the full article. If you're thinking about selling, I promise it's worth your time. And now, let's wrap things up with some quick hits from around the web. First up, the Guinness Book of World Records actually proved why aliens should really keep their distance. We've got barefoot Lego runners. Why? Just why? People freezing themselves for attention, and a pig that can actually skateboard better than most adults. Meanwhile, Nicki Minaj ended up at a conservative conference, praised Trump, bonded over Queens, and dropped an assassin joke that actually landed like a brick. Last but not least, history finally got the audit we were all looking for. Ancient pets, pet dogs specifically. There were none, they were just wolves. Napoleon's army, turns out disease did most of the damage, and a 2,000-year-old boat that just became a crime scene thanks to fingerprints. Turns out history wasn't that mysterious. It just didn't keep receipts. All right, everybody, that is the final recap for 2025. If you want the full breakdown, click the link, read the Substack, drop us some comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you in 2026.